Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Island Boy Cuisine. Today, we're going to be making saltfish and shrimp fritter using our jerk seasoning. Lizzie's going to be cooking today, so take it away, baby. Tell the people what we have.
So we already put some chopped tomatoes in here, some diced peppers, you can use any type of peppers, and 2 stalks of scallion. Now we're going to add our jerk seasoning, which is 1 teaspoon. And cornmeal, this is 1 tablespoon. Half a cup of flour. 3 ounces of our shrimp. And, let me get the rest of this out. And 4 ounces of our scallion.
Saltfish.
Saltfish, my bad.
All right. So once we get all the ingredients together, we're going to start mixing them up. Go ahead and do your mixing.
You gotta cover them in powder.
Spread your jerk seasoning. Once you're doing this, you want to make sure that you spread your spices and seasoning readily so that everything gets coated and gets a little bit of the seasoning.
You don't want one part to be too spicy.
That's right. You don't want to be getting the lumps of jerk seasoning. All right. And you don't want to squeeze it together before you add our beer. When you make fritters, you can sometimes use, some people will use water and then they'll use baking powder as a leavening agent or rising agent to give the fritter a volume.
So where does saltfish come from?
Saltfish is actually from the Nordic countries, Norway. Hello, Sissel! Denmark, and areas around cold areas. And it was a method of preservation. When they'd catch a fish, they'd salt them to keep them long, especially during the winter months. So we're going to add our beer now. If you want to look at this, it's a little bit mealy. Don't take off your glove because you're still going to need to mix it up. All right.
This is 4 ounces of beer. So what type of beer can you use?
We're using a lager beer. Ideally, you want to use something that's not too heavy. So you can use a Pilsner as well. But you want a light beer, nothing too heavy. So while we have it, and you have that yeast, that's what's going to add to the fritter getting a little bit puffy. Okay. We usually have these as kids. You find them in rum bars. Typically, it's just the codfish.
I guess we made ours different today.
Yeah, you can always bougify it. Some people do lobster fritters. Or, some people can use other types of fish.
But ours is extra special because we used our own jerk seasoning.
That's right. When you're ready to drop these, you want to put them, make sure that you drop them in hot oil. And basically, you want to do like a spoon and just drop it in the oil. Like that, and let it come together. You notice how the oil is slightly bubbling around the edges. That's a good indicator. That's how it's going to start and that's how it's going to end. We want to make sure when we put the product in there that it's not too close together, because if it's close together then they're going to stick.
So, it's good that they're bubbling.
Yeah. So we just scoop them like that, ball them out, and just make a dot out of them.
Can't wait to try these.
Yeah, it will be nice. You can use other types of salted fish. You can use like pollock or any other light white fish. You don't want to use a heavy fish. You can also make salmon fritter too, but it's a totally different method. It's not going to have the flavor. You're going to need more seasoning in there. With the saltfish, we have to remember that the best way to do it is to soak them overnight, or else you have to spend a lot of time boiling it to get that salt out of there.
You don't want it too salty.
Right.
And that's why we're not adding salt to our recipe today, right?
No, exactly. So what I did with the saltfish that we're using today is that we rehydrated it overnight. So I just had a simple container with water in there. We poured water, fresh cold water on it, let it sit for about an hour, then we threw off the water, and we repeated that process a couple of times before leaving it to sit overnight. Then today we took the codfish or saltfish, put it in a pot and boil it, let it come to a boil and cook the fish. Because at that point, what happens until that point? It's real rubbery or stretchy. So once you put it into hot water, then it becomes malleable and then you can pick it into pieces. This is a good bar food item or snack item that people can have. Fairly easy to prepare, doesn't take long at all. And then what you're going to do is, while you're there, you can come on over, camera person. As you can see, once you drop them in, they're going to get flat, and they're easy move around.
You just don't want to cook them over too early because then they'll fall apart.
Well, they won't fall apart because the flour and the cornmeal work as an adhesive or to hold it together as a binder. So,
but what if you were to what happens if they separate? Can you somehow put them back together, or are they two separate pieces because of the fish?
Well, they shouldn't separate. So what you want to do is when you start cooking and you put it in there, you want to watch it. Drop your first one and watch to see if it starts to separate. If it separates, all you do is just, to your mixture, add a little bit more flour, a little bit more cornmeal. The cornmeal, yeah, the cornmeal helps to add texture to it, so it's not just tasty. You have a little bit of grit. And we want to cook them until they're golden brown. Like I said, once you start frying them, they're going to be, when it starts cooking, it has a little lull of a bubble around the edges. And then once it gets going, it starts to get wild. The bubbling around it gets wild. That's the cooking process. Then once it's ready, the bubbles are going to subside a little bit. So that's what we want to make sure of. My mom, who used to have her own bar, used to sell this stuff too. Grandma used to sell this stuff, and what she would do is, because of the saltiness of it, it would force people, they want to drink more. So for all you bartenders, yes, they buy more alcohol. So for all you bartenders out there, tell your chefs you want fritters in there, something that is salty that is going to encourage people to drink more. Any other questions? Any other thing curious on the mind?
So when you have these, when you make them, can you add, like I see our sauces here, what would be like good sauces to pair them with besides like our sour cream and just the regular hot sauce we have here?
Well, you can add a jerk sauce to it too. You can add
even more jerk.
Yeah, there you go. And to our sour cream, we have like orange rind, orange zest. You can do something to play off it. Because of your flavors, you have sweet, salty, hot, spicy. A lot of times you want to contradict or counterbalance whatever is there. So like with the sour cream, we add orange rind. You can even add a little bit of honey that will play off the saltiness coming in here. So you get a little bit of sweet, a little bit of sour, a little bit of sing, a little tang coming out. Same thing with the sweet chili sauce. So, and for those people who find the food too hot, what happens is that the sour cream, because it's dairy, is going to neutralize the spice a little bit, so it's not as hot.
Yeah, I'm just going to try the hot sauce today, get extra hot.
Yeah. Yeah, so as you can see now, our colors are coming together.
That looks good.
Yeah, you get a nice golden brown, doré color, sexy color, and you can see the chunks of shrimps in there, the peppers, the saltfish, the codfish. Once these are ready, make sure you have your paper line ready to soak up all the grease out that it was fried in. So
with our, like when we cook it, how long do you typically cook it for? If you want to cook it at a lower heat, so it doesn't bubble as much? There's some people who are afraid of oil.
No. You want it to bubble. You want hot oil. If you use hot oil, your food won't be that greasy. What happens is that once the mixture hits the oil, it seals it right away. If your oil is too cold, then it's going to absorb the oil. So we don't want that.
And then will it become rubbery then?
Not rubbery, it'll be soggy.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll be overly soggy. When you bite into these, you're going to get a little bit of crunch on the outside and a little bit of softness on the inside. So remember that. make sure your oil is hot. You can test it by putting like a little piece of, even a little bit of the batter, just drop it in there and watch it if it bubbles. If it bubbles, then you're good to go, you're ready to go. So we turn off our thing here, and we have about 5 pieces. You'll see the vegetables and everything, they have different colors that are coming through. Bring the mixture over here. Let me drop a couple more while we get ready to plate these bad boys up.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just put them on and turn them over.
So this is before we fried them, and this is afterwards.
Right.
They look very different.
Yeah. Okay, so let's drop another one. Like I said, you want to put your spoon down. You can see it start to bubble there. That's how you know it's ready to go. All right. We can, out of this mixture, we can make about 10 servings. Yeah. I know I have my virgin down in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Rashidi, at the windmill. Tell your chef, I need this on the menu when I come down there. All right? Thank you for all the feedback we've been getting. And guys, we want to get you to tell us, give us some ideas. Tell us what you'd like to see us do, you know?
You can just put it in the comment section. That looks fine.
Right. So we let that go. These are ready to be plated up. We are going to start putting these on there. Can you bring the little foo-foo garnish stuff for me, please, baby? So, yeah, we just want to stack these on top of each other. All right.
We put these in water.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We're not in the islands anymore, baby. We got to make this safe. All right.
You want to make it colorful?
All right. So come on over. Let's try them.
Okay.
So you want to try?
I'm going to try the spicy sauce with
Okay.
mine.
Okay, go ahead. So look at that. You see you have your shrimp, you have your codfish.
And it cooked throughout evenly.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to cook. That's why we chop up the shrimp. Go ahead.
I'm very happy about that too, because sometimes when you cook it, the inside doesn't always get cooked.
Right. You hear that
That's
crunch?
very important.
Yep. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Remember, sign on. When you sign on, share, like, subscribe,
and follow.
In addition to that, we just uploaded our website, Island Boy Cuisine. Look on there. You never know. You might find something you like.
And that's at islandboycuisine.com.
Until next time, have a good weekend.
Bye.
Ciao.